and welcome to Inside the Pressure Cooker, where cooks and chefs share their stories of life inside the kitchen.
I'm not going to stress out about that end goal just yet. There'll be plenty of time for that. Right now, I'm very lucky and fortunate to be in a position where I can just enjoy cooking and learning. I have very little amount of responsibilities. Nobody's counting on me. Like I can just, I can be a sponge right now. Um, Eric from the bakery and Denton, he always told me just like keep writing down every year what your goals are and just watch them change. And I haven't done it every year, but I've written a few things down. It's like, oh wow, it has changed dramatically. And then I even remember what you told me. We were sitting in your office in Barley. Uh, you asked me this question. You said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Oh, I want to open my own restaurant." I said, "No, no. I said, find some people with with money and go play with their money and this and that." And I even tell people that here. And so yeah, no, I know one day I'm gonna have to grow up and be responsible and make some important decisions. But not right now. I know I get to cook.
I would love to see Mario's goals and where they're at now versus when he joined me about 8 years ago. And that's actually some great advice that I wish I would thought about or known about then. But writing down your goals every year and watch them evolve with you. Right? Remember, as I've mentioned, it's if you don't hit it, it's not because you didn't succeed or it's not because you failed. It's because they've changed, and they've changed because you're growing. And so that's a great thing to happen. And in your infancy, as you're growing, this is also the time to start learning better habits, to take care of yourself. And it's something I wish I would have learned. Because one, I struggle with that in many ways. For so many of us, it's about taking care of everybody else except for you. And that's going to come back and bite you hard. Even to this day, I will take care of everybody else before I even think about me. And that's just part of it is the hospitality side. Part of it is just that's the unselfish side of me that's taking care of it. But it's kind of funny to say that it's unselfish when you work in a career that is very selfish because of the time and commitment that it takes to really grow and excel. But when you learn to take care of yourself mentally through whatever form you deem fit that I would suggest would be healthy, whether it's meditation or yoga or exercise, rather than drugs and alcohol. Those habits are only going to continue to help this industry eat away at you until there's nothing left of you. Nobody wants to see you crash. You've got to find a smarter, healthier way by tracking your goals and making sure you see that forward progress, and pushing yourself to do that forward progress is good, but only if you're able to take care of yourself. So my challenge to you is create these goals, all right? Have 2 professional goals, and one of those is going to be a personal goal, and that personal goal is going to be self-care. How are you going to learn to take care of yourself in a different way? Right? What are you going to do for you and your body? And that's a selfish goal, but that's okay. You can have 2 professionals and 1 selfish. What are you going to do about you? All right. So we're here with my friend Mario. Mario, give me your 30-second elevator pitch here. Who is Mario?
Uh, Mario, it's like I tell all my friends, I'm just a donkey. I just like to cook and have a good time. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it. I know that wasn't 30 seconds, but
Fair enough. So how long you been cooking for?
professionally, 7 years now.
7 years. Okay. Did you do any school or any background like that?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of a crazy story. When I was 14, my family moved to France as missionaries. So I went to public school there, and in the school system there, right before you hit high school, you can do like a general school or you can do a trade school. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like I didn't know what was happening. I didn't speak French. I was a little bit lost, and I saw there was a baking school in my city. I said, "Oh, sounds great. I love bread, love croissants, all that. So I'll go do that." And as I was like applying for it, like I was looking at it, this and that, and my dad kind of, suggested I do more cooking, and then I could specialize if I wanted to. And so I did that. So started cooking, really fell in love with it. Started working at a couple of different restaurants, and I didn't know what I was seeing. Like I didn't. I remember the first time I saw foie with cherries and this and that, and that didn't make any sense to me. I had no idea what that was. No, I mean I never seen that before. So
Right. And I mean, you were what, 14, 15 at this time?
like almost 17, 16, 17, something like that. I come from a big family from Denton, Texas. Foie with cherries, I do that. I don't even know what that is. Like they would tell me in English, like they would translate it for me. Like one of the guys spoke English there. I said, "Oh yes, foie gras and cherries." None of those words make sense even in English. So it really was just a different world.
I mean, so obviously you got through it.
Yeah. It was,
I mean, I'm assuming, I mean, how did you know it was for you though?
well, I think that was the best part of it because I didn't. I didn't know it was for me. And in hindsight, I think if I had known more about the industry, then it may have like scared me off. I remember during orientation, my chef told us, "You're not gonna have a girlfriend, you're not gonna have a family, you're not gonna have a life, this and that." Again, I understood the words he was saying, but it's early in the morning.
Yeah.
It's high school. He's
Sure,
yelling at
sure,
us, small
sure.
knuckleheads.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. And I just want to eat some food. I saw you guys have steaks in the back. Well, I'll make it through. And then after a couple years in the industry, like, oh, he was telling us not to do this because it sucks, because it's hard. Oh man, I totally missed the warning.
There you go.
And then so by that time it was too late, and I loved it too much. And yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. So you finished up school. Did you work in France at all before coming back to the States?
Not full time. When you do school there, so the culinary school I did again it was like a trade school, high school level. That was a 3-year program, and every year you have to do a month to 2 months of internships. I
Okay.
did that all at the same hotel, and so for 3 years I was at this hotel. They started me off at the bistro, and then by the second year I moved up to the 2-star place, and I was like working fish entremet at that place. Um, After I graduated that, I did do 1 year of pastries. I did a year, it must have been like 2 months with the pastry chef there. And then my dad told me like I should like continue things and like maybe do chocolates or ice cream or keep specializing and go to school there because I couldn't work there legally.
Right. Okay.
And they had a lot of good programs, but I don't know. Again, I didn't know anything about the industry. I just kind of felt like I needed to start working. So I moved back to Texas. As I was looking to move back, my dad was like, "Okay, you found a job yet?" I was like, "Yeah, I was looking at this place, that place." I said, "Okay, cool. What about your second job?" Like, "What are you talking about?" He said, you gotta have 2 jobs, man. Like, oh, snap. Okay, cool. So we had a friend of a friend, or no, sorry, we knew the daughter of Eric from Raven Bakery, and so talked with him,
Okay.
and then he gave me a job in the morning there. Then I just hit the square with a couple resumes, and that's when I walked
Hmm.
into LSA Burger and applied there. Didn't work out. Okay, cool. And then that's how I heard about Barley. Got hired on there, and so I was working there and at the bakery in the morning.
Okay. So I mean, between the pastry side and the savory side, I mean, they're two different
Oh,
worlds.
absolutely. Ab-
I mean, do you feel a draw from one to the other?
Oh yeah, the savory, 100%.
Okay.
But also because I feel like I'm more of a cook than a pastry guy. Just because like pastry, you need a little more finesse, a little more patience, maybe a little bit more math.
Fuck ton more patience.
That's just not me. Like,
No.
I can save a steak. I've learned a couple tricks. You overcook it. Okay, throw it in the freezer real quick. Bam, bam, bam. Then, push the ticket out. Like, you can make things happen.
Right.
You go a couple degrees too
Yeah.
far, and then you got to restart the recipe.
Oh, a couple degrees or a couple grams of this, or
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've never been able to do that or work on that side. And, if someone asks me to make a cake now, I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going to give Betty a call, maybe Duncan. Right.
Yeah, I have a couple tricks, but
because to me, I'm also, I cook on the fly. Right. And it's just, I cook organically and it's how you're feeling, because as you're going through, because for me, the more you think about a dish, the more wrong it is.
yeah, same. I'll cook, and then in hindsight, but okay, next time I'll do this, and that, and that's how I.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You're always kind of making those changes.
Yes, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I add wine? This. I forgot that. Next time I'll base it. But
yeah. When it comes to baking, not so much.
Yeah. That's rough.
But you picked up a couple pastry positions when you're out in New York. So, I mean, you're still kind of keeping up on it.
Yeah, because I know it's important, I know, it's a big industry, but also those are tools that we can use. And it's not so separate, Like, honestly, my bread baking and all that, I can't do any of that, hardly. I can make a brioche, kind of. But as far as, desserts, I can come up with a decent dessert that hold up in a restaurant. And that's about as far as I can go.
I mean, is there any of the pastry mindset? I mean, I say mindset because it almost is a different mindset. Not almost, it is,
100%.
right? Is there any of that pastry mindset or tools that you've been surprised on how they've transferred into the savory world?
A little bit. Nothing crazy, because I'm not that good, but
okay,
just using a piping bag, or there are small things like that, like canneling. And again, I said that, and I can't cannel, but small things that you'd be very surprised a normal guy or a normal cook can't do. My handwriting sucks, but I know how to get chocolate to the right temperature and kind of drizzle something on a plate if it needs to be done.
Kind of drizzle something on a plate.
You can kind of make out the letters, and it kind of looks like someone tagged it / spilled something, but
that could be birthday, anniversary, something like that.
It's the thought that counts. So I can do that, but even one of my buddies, he's always telling me about how he wants to he always thinks about maybe just taking 6 months off and going to go work for some pastry chef, because he feels very inadequate in that area. And I said, yeah, you should, man, because you just learn 2 creams, a cake, and a ganache. Then kind of puts your mind at ease.
Isn't that something you can kind of practice at home, or depending on the restaurant you're at, kind of?
Yes, but you know how it is. It's so different. So if you learn it from somebody who's in the industry, it's the same thing. Yeah, you can sear a steak and season it, and it can be perfectly cooked. But if you can do that and pop it in the oven and temper it and tak. If someone shows you how to do that on the line, that gives you a lot more confidence than if you just buy it at Whole Foods.
Practicing at home. Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing. Plus, it's a very nice thought. We're very limited on time, cooking wise, energy wise. Just what?
Yeah.
Go home and bake a cake.
Nah. You know what? Some people do that shit though, man. Some do.
Yeah. Yes. Some people, cure cancer and do all the kind of crazy stuff. But not me. If I can wash my uniform, then I'm good.
Fair enough. So, quick word of advice then. So you've kind of gone through culinary school in Europe, in France, right? Did some baking and pastry work out there. Did some hotel work. You've worked here in the States, North Dallas area, at a couple of different places. And you've been in New York for about 6 years now then, right? New York's definitely a kind of a pretty tough place to be cooking for a lot of ways. There's probably a lot of competition, I don't doubt.
Absolutely.
Restaurants are here one day, gone the next. What is some advice you would give to that new kid that's just walking in, like yourself at 16, 17 years old? What is something you wish you would have known or someone had told you?
Well, actually, I feel like I'm very blessed that my dad did teach me. And that's to work hard. Like ever since I can remember, like we were mowing grasses and just working, 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 working. That's a big part of it, because you do see a lot of people come from all over the world, all over the country to work here. And, you don't have to be the best, but you do have to be able to work hard and go the extra mile and not just do the task, do your, mise en place list. No, you gotta, help somebody out. So I would say work hard, which is, does affect your attitude. And then really, like we were talking about, learning how to cook. It's not just follow recipes. It's not just techniques are very important. Knife skills are super important, obviously. But it's just food, man. Like sometimes on a hard day, I'll be crying to my buddy, oh, this sucks, whatever. And he says, how is it that someone can walk off, come from another country, doesn't speak the language, and just walk into a kitchen and, cook better than you? Like, why are you crying, man? Like, you're overthinking it, you're overcomplicating. You talk about politics too much. Just do your job. The chef wants this, do this. No. We're just cooking food, man. We're not solving any problems. We're not, reinventing the wheel. So I would say that, don't get lost in all that other stuff.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, and it's food, man. When you go out to eat, what are you looking for? You're looking for to solve life's problem? No, you're trying to pay a little bit of money, have a nice meal, have a good time, and go home. So that's the service that we should be able to provide. And then the last thing I would say is don't forget it's the hospitality service. It's supposed to be hospitable. Yes, we want to be the best. Yes, we want to, maybe come up with a new idea, maybe this, maybe that. But hospitality,
I gotcha. Man, so a story. Give me one good story it could be New York or out here in Denton, where it made you question everything. Where you're just like, man, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh, how about one?
You probably have a few. We all kind of do.
Yeah, there was one time at that place that I opened. They were on another planet or whatever. Long story short, we ended up doing brunch. Okay, cool. Come to find out, they weren't paying any of the purveyors, so I couldn't order anything. Already, I don't know how to order. So then when the guys are telling me, yeah, you owe $10,000, so we're not going to bring you eggs tomorrow for brunch. Okay, this is going to be a problem. I was like, don't worry, it's not a problem. Nah. I'm going to go to Restaurant Depot, pick up some eggs. No problem. Okay. And I'm leaving the restaurant like at 1, whatever, on Saturday night, and I see them all hanging out, doing whatever, partying. Okay. You going to pick up eggs tomorrow? Yeah. We open for brunch at 9. Yeah. Don't worry. He's going to go at 7 when it opens. That's going to be okay. All right, cool. Go home, sleep a couple hours, come back. It's 8 o'clock. Okay. This guy, okay. Nobody. Start working on everything. And I don't know. I mean, I know you know, but I don't know if anyone else knows. You need eggs for brunch. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Pancake, everything. Everything has eggs in it for brunch. It's 10:30. We're open. And again, new restaurant's low. Just 2 people in the restaurant. There's still no eggs. Okay, whatever. Then it picks up around 3. We get slammed. It's terrible. All right, now into Sunday service. And it's somebody's birthday or something, and it's just 15 hours of not fun. I thought this was supposed to be my break. I thought this, I was going to open this restaurant. And man, what am I doing? I should have stayed in school.
Man, so did the eggs ever show up?
Yeah, around like 11.
Oh, okay.
2 hours after.
But still.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
30 minutes after you got an order.
Yeah. But, what that does to your mind, too, the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
You're just worrying about it, stressing about it. By the time it shows up, like, you're mentally just already fucked.
Oh, yeah. And, bad attitude, all that. And just, like you were saying, like, how are you supposed to cook like that?
Yeah.
Cursing and yelling and that's no fun.
Yep. No, it's not a very fun environment.
No.
I used to be that guy too, though. So.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes, and that's one thing you have to learn is like, sometimes some things are out of your control.
Yeah, some things are out of your control.
Just kind of gotta let it go. There was another time. It was the first time I ever worked protein station. It was at Bar Boulud, and it's right across the street from the Lincoln Center, which is this big opera. They put on shows, all this stuff. All right, cool. And I've been working there for 3 months now. Just got moved up. I knew Friday night gets busy. You can do 300-400 covers. And so I was on proteins. I don't know why they didn't train me. I feel like they didn't train me. And so I was just taking care of all the meats, all the fish. That's all I did. No garnish, no nothing. All right, cool. I can cook a steak. I can sear a fish. No problem. Like the fact you start going. Man, by 5:30, I was going down. Yeah, burgers and this, and they're just coming at me. Ducks and oh man, what the heck? Like ducks, they're just barely seared. They're overcooked, but they're not rendered. Like what the hell? And so I'm sweating bullets. I'm just like going down. And one of the corporate chefs is like walking around, and he sees me, and he just starts yelling at me. And somehow, I don't know. He said something, and I answered in French or something. He's like, "Oh, you speak French?" I said, "Yes, sir." He's like, all right, cool. What's your name? Mario. Where are you from? Texas. Okay, Texas. Let's go. And so it was just me and him on the station all night. Oh man, that was the worst service ever. It was terrible. Like, give me a fish spatula. I gave him my fish spatula. You know, it's the one like that has like the three little holes in it or whatever.
Sure.
He's like, oh, what the fuck is this? Launches it across the kitchen, and I don't know where it is. Like it's just gone. And he wanted like the slated, not the slated one, like the stainless steel flat one, whatever.
That's not a fish net.
Not, I mean, it is an offset, you know. But like, I don't know what to do right now because I have 7 fish on fire. Like, and my fish batch is in the banquet kitchen. And so I'm going down, and he's yelling at me, "Okay, pass me this, pass me that." And I'm like, "Okay, give me another duck." And again, I'm freaking out. I don't have any more ducks. I'm like, yo, this is the last duck. Oh, that was not good. That was not good, man. I said, yeah, more duck in the walk-in? Like, yeah. I said, all right, go back there. So I grabbed the blowtorch. I run to the walk-in. And I'm blowtorching off feathers. I'm trying to butcher. I don't know how to butcher. I'm butchering these ducks, like, killing them, killing them. And every, like, 5 minutes I hear, Texas! So I have to run back to the line. Yeah, what do you need, chef? Like, oh, I need this, that. So that went on for like 6, 7 hours. Yeah. Just running back and forth to the walk-in butcher ducks. Again, don't know how to butcher. Back to the line to this angry French guy, just hating me.
So, I mean, not having the ducks, was that on you, or is that someone,
100%.
is that like a prep thing?
No, that was 100% me. Yeah, I just went.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I thought 6, 7 ducks, I'll be good. And I had no idea what was going on. I just got thrown in. The guy, he left or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how it happened. They must have trained me somehow. But my first service solo was a Friday night.
How long did you last after that at Bar Boulud?
I stayed there 3 more months, 4 more months. And then I had the opportunity to open this place, which in hindsight didn't turn out well, but I thought it was, couldn't say no.
Do you figure out how to butcher a duck by then?
Oh, yeah. Every day the guy was there. Oh, that was another thing, because I couldn't slice it. I didn't know how to slice it. God, I thought it was a duck. If the duck breast is a duck breast, it's a duck breast. It's like, no. You see where the wing is? You have to slice it like that way, duck, duck, duck. So every day he'd come on my station, take all my ducks. How do you slice that one? How do you slice that one? How do you slice that one? Oh, like this, oh, like this. Okay, then why didn't you do that during service? Like, I don't know.
That's funny. No, we were talking to someone else. I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was my cousin. But when it comes to training, I think it was like the advice I gave to other people is, so many people are like, well, I wasn't trained to do it. Or I wasn't. It's like, man, when it comes to training in a kitchen, your on-the-job training is usually going to be your first day for maybe a week if you're lucky, and if you suck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, good point.
And then after that, there is no more on-the-job training to go to another station.
No.
Like every day, I mean, working next to that guy is your on-the-job training for when they decide to move you over there. And you better hope that you were paying attention enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Listen to the bananas he gets so you don't get those. And then, oh, he's good at that. So how do you do that? Yeah. You can't just have your eyes. I mean, yeah, master your thing first. Absolutely.
Yeah, but your head's got to be on that swivel and always learning.
Oh,
You know,
100%. Yeah, but that's also something you learn. Like, as a young cook,
mm-hmm.
you don't know that. You're scared of the guy yelling at you, because you don't have your peas, or you don't have this, or you burned that, and you're not looking at what this guy, how this guy makes his sauce, how much he reduces it. You're not even thinking about that. You just kind of tunnel vision. But
Just don't get yelled
yeah,
at. Tunnel vision.
please don't yell at me. Please, that's it. I don't even care if it tastes good. Just don't yell at me. And then oh, okay. Actually, nobody's gonna hold my hand. No one's gonna sit me down. Like, this is medium rare. This is medium. No, this is what happens when you have two fish at once. No one tells you that, but you don't know that in the beginning.
No, in a lot of ways, it's about finding your way, and sometimes, like sometimes you'll have the people around you that see you struggling, and will jump over and kind of, hey, next time, do this, do that. And they'll kind of right, but even then, sometimes it's too little, too late, and you still got to get through that service.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I find myself doing that too. It's like I'll see something, think, oh, this is gonna happen. Then whatever happens, bad. All right. Yeah, next time just move it to the side a little bit, do this. I don't tell them everything. I don't know why I don't, but you just kind of you have to figure it out.
I mean, is competition so fierce that you can't tell or kind of give them everything? Or
I don't. Not for me.
I mean, is that like the New York culture, or
some places it is? Some places it is. There's this guy. I'd consider him like one of my mentors, Big Steve. He used to work at Danielle back in the day, and he would say like, it was ruthless. People would turn up your ovens all the way, or turn off your ovens, or like if Danielle was in the kitchen, like they'd throw a mangosteen at your cutting board and like smash it down, so that when he turns it over, it's like all messed up. I'm sure some places are still like that, but I'm not like that personally. I'm not that competitive. So I'll let you figure it out. I'll let you, oh, it's the wrong one. Oh, you don't have enough, or whatever.
Interesting.
I'm not trying to babysit you all day. But
no, I mean, you got to look after yourself. I mean, you don't always have the energy or the mind power, right, to be able to hold someone's hand through a service.
No, but I'm not going to sabotage you, and I don't think that's right. Because again, at the end of the day, it goes back to service and the guest. And
for me, the only time I would sabotage someone would be like taking peanut butter and putting it under the rail of their.
Oh yeah.
When they go to open the lower, like their low boy or something, and they just get a handful of peanut butter.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Yeah, that would be about the worst.
But not,
or like adding vinegar to their water.
Yeah. Or giving them water in a quart that smells like onions or something. Yeah, some.
Yeah,
but not to affect the food.
No, you can't affect the service or the guest.
No.
I mean, humiliating someone in front of the chef is. I mean,
that's just part of the game. That has nothing to do with anything.
It's just part of the game. So, what's overplayed? You see a lot of stuff out in New York right now. You're cooking at a pretty nice place as well. You're probably keeping an eye on a lot of other places out there. What do you see right now that it's just like when it comes back up on the menu, we're like, fuck, not again? Or is it just something that it's like needs to go away?
Okay, as far as like techniques go, I think
anything
sous vide could be overplayed sometimes. Again,
okay.
I think everything has its place and everything in moderation, and if you know what's going on, then it's appropriate. But I feel like some people they don't even know how to cook a steak in a cast iron. So, but now all of a sudden you can cook a perfect steak because you do it this way. Okay, yes. I mean, I guess it still counts, but not really.
Hey, I'll be honest. I've used it as a crutch in restaurants before as well to help kind of because I knew I didn't have the staff, or it was almost a I don't want to call it a shortcut, but like the pork tenderloin that we did at Barley, it was just a way to it was a smaller kitchen. We needed to be able to do quite a bit of volume. So,
Yes,
and it was like, man, pull it out of the bag, roll it across the grill, slice it, and it's gone.
yes, but that's a good application. That's being smart about it. That's not just like because you didn't know how to cook a pork loin. You know what I mean? That's very different. That's a good way to use it. Or like how you
Right.
ferment things, or like I'm not against sous vide. Again, I don't know that much. It's great to store things. Like I don't know. I'm not an expert in it, but I have seen some cooks. Like, I've seen you sear a steak and it's not seared. It's kind of boiled. There's still that big gray line. It's like you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know how to temper something. You don't know. But you just bought this thing off Amazon. It's like a make a wish sous vide machine. Now you're a chef. Yeah, that's kind of whack.
I gotcha. What about ingredient wise? What's overplayed?
Mm-hmm. Overplayed. I think lobster's overrated.
Oh God, lobster's been overrated for fucking decades, man. Nobody's figured that out yet.
I mean, I've had it from one place and they get it some small guy in Maine or something. And that one's really nice. Okay, I'll give you that. That one's really nice. Every other one's like, that's
There's nothing to it, man.
why? Why is it so expensive? Langoustines, I get. Prawns, sure. Lobster, what's a lobster, man?
There's nothing special about a lobster. No, and I mean your lobster up in Maine that you're talking about. I mean, let me guess. You're probably sitting on a dock or somewhere like one of the rivers. You got the trees. I mean, you've got the ambiance and everything about it,
Come on.
and you're just at a lobster shack in Maine, and you're sitting outside and you're doing your thing. So at that point, it's not really the lobster.
Yeah, no,
It's the whole experience.
exactly.
Even when I'm up in the Northeast, when I go up there, I will not get a lobster. I won't get a lobster roll. Any of that shit. For me, I go for fried clam bellies, right? Ipswich clams. I mean, so much more to them.
Oh, yeah. And I love shellfish. I love crustaceans and all that. But I love it. That's not it.
Menus. When you see something on the menu at any restaurant, right, wherever you go, and you get annoyed, what is it?
Hmm.
You're just reading through it and you're like, fucking stop doing that.
I guess foams.
They're still doing those out there?
Of course, man. Of course.
I thought those went away.
They're just alive and well, unfortunately. Especially like,
Hmm.
I'd also say about menus, the, how do you say this? Like, over description of things. Where it's like a paragraph and then it comes out and it's, again, I don't care if it's a small portion, if it's good, whatever. But if it's 16 words and there's two things on the plate, how about you just say it's, the protein and the main flavor you're trying to get across and let the dish do the speaking. I don't like things when over explained and this and that and for 9 days and, you know, the chef took a bath and he shaved and nah. Who cares, man? Like,
All the staff came to work and
yeah,
wearing the essence of tarragon while preparing your lobster.
yeah, they took the L train and, it wasn't raining too hard. And, no one cares about that.
Yeah. No, it's funny because at one point, like menus were fairly descriptive. And then they got to a point where it was just an ingredient. And it was like the slashes, kind of like what barley was. It would just be like ribeye / mushroom / demi, right? Which is for people in the industry, right? Is you're going to understand what that is and can kind of imagine that flavor profile. But then there's a lot of people out there that are just like, well, what do I expect? Yeah, and I think they were the ones that somehow got in control of some of those menus.
Sure, but then I would say, like it's part of the server's job to, or the service. That's when the service team, steps up. And if
Right.
you think they have a question or you can explain it well, and again, not to oversell it, but No, actually, it's
Well,
not.
you got to be able to sell it
You know,
and explain it and get someone to understand what they're getting.
yeah,
So when the plate shows up, they're not confused.
yeah.
'Cause how many times does that happen?
Oh, 100%.
And you're just, yeah, you're like, what part of this did you not understand?
But I feel like oftentimes I feel like there's a difference between selling it and explaining what it is. Because sometimes the staff doesn't even know what it is. They know how to sell it. Oh, it's this and that. That's not true. No, it's actually, it's not the ribeye, it's the cap. It's how do you cook it? What are you talking about? How I cook it? You don't see the grill that's right here? Like, why are you asking me that? It's like, you can sell it and you know all the words and know how to say it in a very attractive way. But that's not what the food is. The mushroom is like this, the puree is that, like that.
Hmm.
Sauce is made from the bones. Bum bum bum. I think those are
I just had this. I was gonna say I just had this image of like servers are just reading off teleprompters sometimes.
yeah,
It's like Anchorman kind of shit, and fuck you, San Diego. Like, excuse me? I'm sorry, what?
yeah.
You know, it's like, do you know what you just said? About what?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's super important too.
What inspires you?
I don't know, honestly. Like, again, I don't feel like I have my own style of cooking necessarily, or like, I'm still like learning and like experiencing things, but um, I really like nature. I know that's kind of an easy one. Other foods and cuisines, and I really enjoy like the industry as a whole, like being hospitable and whether it's going to somebody's house or a friend or just hanging out, having a couple bites. It could be crackers and cheese or like for me that's very in some kind of way inspiring. It's like because again, it's not about um, creating the perfect menu or creating the perfect dish. I like what I do. I like cooking food and providing that service to people. And I feel like having those moments kind of remind me of that. Having a lazy afternoon, having a glass of wine, a good conversation. Like those are the things that kind of keep that going.
I get that. So really, it's more of the soul of what it is, and it's
Yeah, what it does, the outcome, like what it brings to
right.
other people. Like, and so when I get to,
Yeah, your inspiration's just a lot deeper, I guess I could say, than just kind of chasing the newest trend.
sure, yeah, I'll take that one.
Uh, what about cookbooks? What are you reading right now? Do you read cookbooks?
I haven't read anything in a long time, to be honest. I picked up this thing. I have it right here. I haven't started it. It's Between Meals: An Appetite for Paris by AJ Leblanc. And I don't know what it is. I just saw it in the bookstore. But I feel like
Okay.
I think it'd be something interesting to read while eating at a restaurant, by yourself or at a wine bar or something.
Sitting out on the patio, enjoying your digestif.
Oh, I wish I had a patio. I have a fire escape, but you don't want to sit out
Well,
there. There's too many crackheads.
oh, okay. Let's say, I mean, Firescape is a New York patio, so.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
Do you have any books on reference, like reference books that you go to, like whether it's ratio or
The
anything like that?
Flavor Bible I've always thought was really good. And then I actually, what's it called? I guess the cookbook they gave me at school is a big reference to cuisine, whatever. And it is in French, but it just has all the techniques laid out for you. It's very basic, but it's kind of nice sometimes because you'll hear terms and see things, and whether it's on Instagram or cooking show. And sometimes, like I think, again, I don't know a lot. I'll say, that's that's not an aioli. It's just mayo with sriracha. So I've gone back. I'm like, yeah, I knew that was not. That's not what that is. They'll call it, beurre monté or this or that. It's like that's not what that is. oh, it's a hollandaise, but it's like, oh, okay, then it's not a hollandaise, my man. You know, and that kind of goes back to like about the selling thing. Yeah, it's easy to sell something if you don't
Oh,
if you don't know.
yeah.
If people don't know, then yeah, you can sell them anything. A couple German words, a couple French words, an Italian word here or there, bomb, sold. Yeah, but that's not what that is. But and it only has garlic, potatoes. Like, it's not mayo.
God, don't get me going on that. It just, there's so much shit out there like that
Oh, it's wild.
is used to explain something. Like mayo with flavoring is now an aioli.
Yes.
But it's now everybody, that's what they know. And that's what they believe to be true.
Yeah.
And so when you're like, no, it's just mayonnaise with sriracha, they're like, no, it's not. It's aioli. Okay. But the same thing, like, people started using words that were recognized, and regardless of what it was, whether if it was true or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it was, lack of a better term, just the close enough. Right? Or they're not going to know the difference anyway. And you're like, well, that's not that it's shady, but part of our job is to educate the guests, whether they want to be educated or not. And part of that is on the chef's side, and part of that's also on the server side. So the chef's got to educate the server, and the server's got to educate the guest.
100%.
So.
But now it
just feels.
Even the cooks don't know the difference.
God.
Now it's one thing for the guest doesn't know the difference. He doesn't know that we do it like this, which I kind of believe in some senses, in some ways. Like it's so like you don't need to know that the sauce takes 3 days to make. That's okay.
Right.
I know how to do it. I know how to make it. It's fine. If you're very, very interested, if you're a foodie, sure, I'll tell you. But otherwise, yeah, it's a beef sauce. No problem. But it's very important for the cook to know that a pint of beef stew is $80. You shouldn't be throwing it away. You shouldn't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for a cook not to know the difference between flavored mayo and aioli, it's a problem.
Well, aioli's been going for so long that they probably teach that shit at culinary school now.
Yeah. I can see that.
God. I mean, it's like they just updated the dictionary. No, I don't know. We went into that. The other one was beef short ribs, right? Using boneless beef short rib. It's like, okay, that's not a beef rib. It's a pot roast.
Yes.
Yeah,
so much shady stuff that goes on. Like I worked with this guy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I worked at this red sauce place in Jersey. We had the best veal parm." No. You know what the secret was? Like what? I was pork. What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, it's pork. I thought it was veal parm. Like that's not okay, bro. It's like, yeah, they're famous for it. Like, wow. That's really messed up, man.
Yeah.
Like the same guy, like one time I ran out of what was it? Some calamari. It was like nice calamari, but it was frozen. I was yelling at him, like, "Oh, you should have taken that. I told you to take out another bag, whatever." It's like, Mario, just fire the rest of the ticket. I'll be back in a minute. All right, cool. Fire the rest of the ticket. Sure enough, she comes back with the tray. It's like the frosted calamari. All right, cool. Okay. Bread it real quick. Fire it. I don't know. Go. After a couple picks, they're like, "Yo, how'd you get that calamari defrosted so fast?" It's like, it's an old trick. I'm like, nah, what'd you do? I said, you just, put it in the dish machine, pull out the soap, and run it through a couple times. Bam, frosted. Like, no way, man. Like, don't ever tell me that again. Well, that's what I did.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was at a nice
turbo defrost.
Yeah, and it was at a nice place too. I felt so bad.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, that's one of those like I'd never want to know about that.
No, not at all. But then, I think we've all done stuff too. It's like I was out in Jersey once and we had the health inspection come and nobody knew what to do. That's when I found out like I was the lead guy because like they were all like 20, 21. They'd never been through a health inspection. Oh wow, you guys don't know anything, do you? Snap! I told one of them to grab sandy buckets. They're like sandy buckets, like from the beach, because it was on the beach then. Oh my goodness! No way, no way. Like, no, you know the sanitizer that we never use? Like grab that. Whatever. So the guy's like walking around. I see him put a thermometer in the walk-in. The walk-in's been broken for years. What are you gonna do? And so I go in there. It's like just hanging out on the shelf. This is not good. So I stick it in the oysters for a couple minutes. You know, get it nice and cold. Walk around, do a little mise en place. Keep my eye on him. Then I see him like start walking around again. Go back to the walk-in, put it back in the shelf. Come on, aced it. No problem.
Nice.
Yeah, sometimes you have to.
Hey, that's called job security.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, no, it's you put the bucket of ice underneath the fans so it just pulls the cold air out of that.
Exactly.
To keep everything cold. Yeah, I've done that too. So it's sometimes you walk in, even though it might be the temperature might say it's cold, you can feel the air and you're like, something's not right.
Yeah, it's not cold.
Interesting. So what are some pet peeves you've picked up?
Honestly, not too many. I feel like I feel like I'm pretty chill. Like,
no, I mean, you're definitely not pretentious in any way.
No, but I mean, like, you know, I always tell everyone, like, new people, like, you can use any of my things, like, whatever you want. Just make sure you bring it back clean, not messed up. But I'd say my big one is, like, just saying behind, you know, which a lot of people do, and I'd say most everyone does. But make sure I hear you. You can't just, like, whisper behind. And I've worked in places, like, where everybody says it all the time, so it kind of doesn't mean anything. So then if you're behind me, like with something hot, call my name or something, man. Like, don't just say, I'm behind. And when you see me move.
Well, that's what, yeah. I don't know if you remember this or you ever heard me say this, but I stopped saying behind or hot because it just became like white noise for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say something like coming around lukewarm or, you know, like, you know, hey, coming around, give me a reason. You know, and people would hear that and they'd be like, what the fuck? You know, you get their attention.
Sure.
You know, so it's like, because after a while, you just need to change it up. So it's, because after a while, it's always behind, hot, behind, sharp.
Yeah, of course.
Like, yeah. Oh, shit.
Then you're like, oh, snap.
Yeah, that was my favorite one was, hey, give me a reason. Coming down, give me a reason.
That's cool. Yeah, sometimes I just scream too. Just like, you know, make a crazy noise. And it works, man. You know, it works.
Hopefully nobody cut themselves when they jumped.
I don't know what to tell you. That's not on me.
Yeah. Hey, not your fault they didn't know how to hold the knife, huh?
Yeah, so I just, you know, focus.
Hey, so tell me about one tool that you have to have. And a chef's knife is not an option, right? Outside of your chef knife, what is something that you live by?
That crazy French guy, he was right. That the other little off spatula is pretty nice. You do everything with that.
You're just talking about like the little small offsets?
So it's like that, but bigger. It's like 5 times bigger. But it's the exact same thing, you know. It looks like the little plating spatula, the little offsets. It's like that, but it's stainless. It's the same thing. It's stainless steel, and it's a little bigger so you can flip a fish. Exact same thing. It's not as
so it's
not as long as the cake spatula, you know.
Right.
It's a little shorter, a little wider. Yeah, that one's a go-to. Good basting spoon. Then I'd say, you know, I'm gay like this. I like the cake testers. I believe in those. You know, not just for the temperature.
The cake dusters, huh?
Yeah, and I know, like, I remember the first time I saw one was at Barley. They were sitting like on the range, and I think they lasted 2 days. Again, I didn't know anything was. So I thought they were like part of the sticker, like that, you know, because all the stuff was new there. So I thought you like just took it off and threw it away, or whatever. I remember throwing a couple of those away because I didn't know what a cake duster was.
So what do you use the cake duster for?
Yeah, I mean, you know, everything for, you know, things are cooked, but like now I've learned how to use it not just like tempering meats and stuff. You can use it for vegetables, obviously, but like textures and
Oh, I thought you were saying duster. I thought
oh
tester.
no, cake tester.
Yeah, cake testers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I bought those for everybody when we first opened, and I was trying to teach everyone how to use those. And some adopted it, and others didn't. So,
Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
yeah. Have you learned to take temperature using whether it's like under your lip?
Lip, lip. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. No, it's one of those ones. It's more of an old school thing where you just kind of have that, and then pull it under there, and that's how you can tell that temperature.
Yeah, and even the one time, like I was at this hotel in Times Square. I was working proteins, and they put lamb on the menu. I couldn't get it. I just couldn't get it. It was like a double chop or whatever. And then one day I was waiting for the train, and I promise it just clicked. I was with someone, like we were going somewhere or something. Like, what's wrong? I was like, no, I know how to cook lamb. Like, what are you talking about? Like, don't worry, I got it. Next day I tried it. Like, yeah, I think it's there. Let it rest, sliced it. Pretty good. And I don't know, it just something just clicked, literally.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah. And then like another guy, I was messing up the ducks, and he told me, think of a warm bath on a hot summer day. What are you talking about? This is a big Polish guy. He thinks he's Japanese. Okay. Warm bath, hot summer day. Did it, tempered it. I guess.
That just sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. So I did it, let it rest. All right, chef, we sliced it. So, see, there you go. That's really weird, but somehow it worked.
Warm bath on a hot summer day.
Yeah, I didn't know it.
I'm trying to think of what that would. Okay. I mean, it's one of those things that makes sense, I guess. When you're in the moment.
Yes, it doesn't make sense now because even now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But if you're there, you put it in, put it to your lip. No, that's not a warm bath on a hot summer day. Put it back in. I don't know. And it's, if you listen to this, it sounds crazy, but you should try.
So, Mario, what are we not asking? What are we not talking about?
What are we not talking about?
I mean, what's next for you?
I just want to keep cooking. I just want to keep finding places where, like it's a hard industry, but I've been privileged to work under people who believe in it and do things that make you want to keep working. Like I work for somebody and he's there every day. He works just as many hours as I do, and he's the guy. And so I can follow somebody like that. And he sets a good example and, treats people well and puts out a great product. And he's not perfect, but, nobody's perfect. And you mess this up and he messes that up and this and that. And
Sure.
I like to be able to see that like at a high level is really inspiring, So if I can keep doing that, then I think I'm gonna be okay, You don't like I've never I don't really care for fine dining that much. There's a couple good things about it, a couple bad things about it. But if the food is good, the food tastes good, and then looks good and all that other stuff, then yeah, then I can get behind it. Then I want to cook there. And once I don't like how things are being cooked, or if the chef is not there, or then okay, then it'll be time to change. But as long as I can work in places where I can keep learning, keep cooking, that's really all I want to do right now.
Just keep learning, keep going, keep growing.
Yeah, keep cooking, and because again, that's
Well, I mean, what are you cooking towards? How's that?
oof,
I mean, I'm not going to ask you where you see yourself in 5 years because that's just like the worst question in the world.
sure.
Nobody knows.
No, but like I was even talking.
I mean, everybody's kind of got some kind of end goal, right?
Yeah, like eventually I want to be working somewhere where if you can tell like either a cook that works for you or someone you know, someone starting off, like, oh, you gotta go work with Mario. He knows how to do this and that. Blah blah blah. He treats you good. He'll show you some stuff people aren't doing anymore, and he really knows how to cook. He really knows what's up. And if you can say that about me, then I'll be happy. His food is good. He knows what's up, and 'cause I've gotten to teach a couple people in small ways, even just over the past couple of years. New kids are like, oh man, this guy seems kind of hungry. I'll give them a little advice, and then they come back home.
Right.
They'll show me the plate, they'll show me where they're working, this and that, and call them, check in on them. And I don't know, like again, I'm just a donkey, but I know a couple things, and to be able to share that with different people who seem to understand it, seem to get it, seem to want to do, or who are like-minded in that way. I don't know. It's fun. It's cool. That's all we think about. That's all we care about, really. It's like, all right, cool. Yeah, today sucked. This and that. The chef is telling me, I think he's wrong. It's like, yeah, I think he's wrong too, man. But at the end of the day, you can learn this, you can learn that. Remember this, so you don't treat your people like this when you're in charge. That. Yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah, cool. Have a good service tomorrow. All right, cool. That. And if you do that and put out good food consistently, I'll be happy.
Right on. Yeah, well, you got to find. There's no but. I hear what you're saying, and then there's that element that is, you're never gonna stop learning, right?
Sure.
I mean, I've been cooking my entire adult life, and almost every day was a new learning experience, right? Because there's always a new situation that comes up. You always have that one guest that finds a way to fucking challenge everything you know about life and cooking. So it's one of those. I'd be curious to see when that finally clicks with you. It says, "Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for more."
Yeah, for sure. And that's.
But I get what you're saying though. Because right now you're still taking it all in.
Yes, and I'm not going to stress out about that end goal just yet. There'll be plenty of time for that. Right now, I'm very lucky and fortunate to be in a position where I can just enjoy cooking and learning. I have very little amount of responsibilities. Nobody's counting on me. Like I can be a sponge right now.
Now's the time to do it.
Eric from the bakery in Denton, he always told me just like keep writing down every year what your goals are and just watch them change. And I haven't done it every year, but I've written a few things down. It's like, oh wow, it has changed dramatically. And then I even remember what you told me when you was in your office in Barley. You asked me this question. You said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Oh, I want to open my own restaurant." I said, "No, you don't. So find some people with money and go play with their money and this and that." And I even tell people that here. And so yeah, no, I know one day I'm gonna have to grow up and be responsible and make some important decisions. But not right now. Right now I get to cook.
Right on, man. Well, Mario, I really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Oh, my pleasure.
And thanks for listening to this episode of Inside the Pressure Cooker. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you on how we're doing. And lastly, if you'd like to be on the show, go to InsideThePressureCooker.com and fill out the form. It'll tell me a little bit about you, some of your story, and how it applies to the show. We'd love to hear from you and love to have you on the show.